Hello everyone, Dr. Shivam here with another interesting topic. See, look, have you ever wondered in Test cricket, what is the frequency of triple centuries? When was the last triple century hit? It doesn't happen quite often in Test cricket, right? Centuries happen, double centuries happen, of course, with a smaller frequency compared to centuries, but triple centuries happen very, very rarely, right? Why is that? Because hitting a triple century is it's very difficult, because even if you are on your way to a triple century, if you are a batsman, the other fellows might get out before you reach 300 because it's a pretty long way, right? You have to get pretty good stand from the other people too. Plus, you'll also get tired. See, even hitting a century is a very tiresome job. You have to be standing out in the sun, the full day, hit a century, and then you have to do it again for a double century, then again for a triple century. It's a pretty long, haul, triple century. So it happens very, very rarely. And plus, of course, as I told you, your teammates need to give you a stand for that, right? If they become out before you reach your triple century, you will not be able to make it triple century. So the triple centuries in the history of Test cricket, it has been very, very, less. Only 33 triple centuries have been hit, and that too by 29 batsmen. So triple century, hitting a triple century is very, very difficult. By the time you reach your, beyond 200, you become very tired. Your vision becomes, it's not as good. Your reflexes slow down. You're not fresh anymore. Your legs start tiring. You don't have, you can't, you're not able to run on the runs. So you have to rely on boundaries and everything. So it becomes more and more difficult. So this is the triple century for you, right? So in the history of Test cricket, right, only 33 triple tons have been done, and and remember, and many players of these 33 have hit only one triple century, but there are a few that have hit twice, right? Now remember, Tendulkar and Virat Kohli have not hit a triple century, right, in their careers, and now look, there are only very few people, only 4 people that have hit 2 triple centuries. Okay, and they are the great Bradman, of course, and then Chris Gayle, right, and the third one is our own Sehwag, right, and Brian Lara. These are the 4 people that have hit 2 triple centuries. Has anybody hit 3 triple centuries? No, but there was one man that almost did it, and that is the story that I'm going to cover in this video, and that was our own Sehwag, right? He hit a first triple century against Pakistan, I think in Multan somewhere, and then he hit the second triple century against South Africa. That was the fastest triple century in Test cricket. Okay, it was really in form in the early 2000s, and this was the 2009 December test, home test, against Sri Lanka, and this was in Mumbai, held at the old Brabourne Stadium, not at the Venkat Stadium, because the Venkat Stadium was closed down for renovations, and for getting it ready for the 2011 World Cup. So that is why this test was held in the Brabourne Stadium, and Sri Lanka batted first. They made 300 something, I think, if I remember clearly, and Bharat, made 700 something, in which Sehwag made 293 runs, only 7 short of his third triple ton, right? Actually, he played a very brilliant knock against Sri Lanka that time, a chanceless inning all the way to 293, okay, and towards the end he was grinding it out, and he had only 7 more runs to go, and and it would have been a historic third triple ton for him, right? All he had to do was just play very slowly, defensively, take a single at a time, and slowly inch forward to the triple ton mark, but he didn't do that. He was always, as he's a swashbuckling style, right? Always hitting sixes and fours. That's what he did. And Muthaiya Muralidharan was a bowler. He very craftily deceived him. He gave him a slower ball, and this fellow, gave a return catch back to him, and he was caught and bowled at 293. And later, when Sehwag was interviewed, what happened? He could have, why did he play that risky shot? There was no necessity, and he could have made his historical third triple century. He said that is my style, and I just wanted to, get the runs fast to, help my team to declare fast, and win the test match, which India, of course, won the test match anyway, right? Bharat won it eventually by innings. But I'm saying that Sehwag, he didn't give any attention to the record. He played in his true style, and he was all for his team, to make quick runs and declare, right? That was the intention there, And and that's precisely what happened with Suryavanshi, in the Eliminator, right? He was in 97, and if he had just three more runs, he would have probably had the fastest, T20 in IPL. He could have eclipsed Gale's record, which Gale had done in 30 balls. And I think when Suryavanshi got out, in 28 balls or something like that, there's a big chance that he could have overhauled Gale's record. But when he went for the record, he went for his typical style. His style was to get as many runs as he wanted to, without worrying about his record, and he got out. He held out to third man, and he got out. See, this is where So later, Sehwag also said the same thing, and when they asked Suryavanshi, how did he feel, he said that no, he doesn't feel bad for missing the century. He only felt bad that no, he could not add more runs for the team. That's what he said. And Sehwag said the same thing too. When Sehwag was asked why he missed such a big record, because if he had hit three triple tons, he would have never been beaten, because it's so difficult to make even one triple century, right? So all things have to fall in place for a triple century, more than a double century, as I told you, the factors. So when Sehwag was asked that, he told no, it doesn't bother him, because all it bothered him was always wanted to play his, hitting style, and of course he was more worried for the team. So that's what he said, and so that's how I wanted to bring this to this past incident about Sehwag, just because now people are talking about Vaibhav Suryavanshi, how he threw away his chance of getting away the fastest T20 100, and but this kind of thing happened before in 2009. Okay, thank you and have a nice day. Bye.